Greetings, friends. Finally got the t-shirt back on now. It's all been dried and everything, and yes. So obviously it was washed after the trip to London last weekend. Yes, I hope you're all well and good, and we've got a bit to go through today as well. You'll see the length of the video before you click it, won't you? Of course, but hopefully not too long. So we're going to have some trains running, so stay tuned for that. There will be some trains running. One of them is running in the background. You might be able to hear it on the recording. It's just that this one's been a little bit of a funny runner. So, having cleaned everything I can, track, wheels, pickups are a bit weird in that one. They appear to be via the axles onto the, through the, what do you call it? Oh, what do you call them? You're screaming at the screen right now. They call this. Yep. This is the bit the axle sitting. Axle blocks, yeah, whatever. But through the chassis that way, through that way. And then, obviously, into the motor. So I'm not sure how I'm meant to clean those without taking the wheels off, because that's the only way you're going to get the axles out. And I didn't want to go that far, but it's now been running successfully for around 2 hours or so, 2 or 3 hours. So I'd like to say that, but I say 2 hours, yeah, because it was about 3 when we got back and I started fiddling with it. I'd like to say it's now working a lot better than it was. It seems to stop in odd places, usually the same place, which suggests the track. But when you clean the track within an inch of its life, and the cotton bud with the track magic on it is coming back absolutely clean, you start to think it may not be the track or the locos. And as I have two of these items, I'm going to show you, reveal more in a moment. You'd think that they'd both do the same things if it was the track, same wheelbase, same motor, same cell setup. No, it's only the one that does it, so it's probably something on the loco. But I'm hoping just by leaving it running, it just might sort itself out. Brute force over intelligence and all that. Right. So I was hoping to have a Dean Goods to show you. It's actually sat there in the parcel, ready to go back, because unfortunately it was a bit dead on arrival. It ran briefly, then it stopped, shorted. This is only on the rolling road. So I was like, okay, this is now shorting the controller out. This isn't good. Do you know what? I could fiddle with it, but I probably shouldn't. So I will send it back. I've already reached out, contacted them to do that. After some debating with myself, there was some notion, and I can't actually remember what it was that started it off. I don't know if it's that important now. But I just sort of had the feeling I'd like to try it again for UK Railways, because one of the big things was there are some models I'd like in N that you can't get in 00, and we'll get onto them again in a minute. And also the space thing, and the fact that I wouldn't have to build a layout for them initially. They can run on Surinamichi, my Japanese layout, for now. And we're looking at that. So discussed it with a couple of friends, and sort of a bit of back and forth, because there'd be a lot of pre-orders of rails I'd cancel, which obviously could mean upsetting them and not being allowed to buy from them anymore, because there is a point where you are taking the mickey, and over the past few years I feel I've taken the mickey. I will hold my hands up there. So I started discussing it, and okay, if I'm not allowed to order from them anymore, then there's obviously the TMC, there is Kerno. I did give a brief thought to TT120 again, but that negated the advantage of not having to build a new layout right away. I can just collect stock up. It just stopped briefly. it won't do it on the next trip round. It's the other thing. It's not consistent in doing it. It's just yeah. Yes, on you go to the point of that a little bit, and the range is still just too small for me. It's too small. I'm not going to be. I'm not got the money in any gauge to start from scratch and rush out and buy that many trains at once. But it's the choice. The initial choice is about what do I want? Tank engine. There's one, maybe two if you get the B4. If you really want that B4. If you can call it a B4, there's a J50. So yeah, not a great range still. And on the diesel side, it's a bit better, but even there. So anyway, T121 side, and now for those who know me and know me a long time, you'll know I've tried them so many times over the past and been thwarted. Shall we say? We'll keep it light. We've been thwarted in the attempt. But I think some rules came into place. We thought of some rules that came into place straight away, which is only by locomotive-wise, only by new in models. Now, that doesn't mean no second-hand ones, but it has to be the new toolings of things. Basically, nothing that's analog only. Stay away where possible from Dapol, and let's see what happens when the reviews start rolling in of things when they eventually release, like the Moguls, the Manners, the Merchant, no, the Tony Merchants, the Light Pacifics, and just see what goes on there and what people say about those, because obviously these are meant to be the ones that completely ground up, redesigned, a new approach, a better approach. I want to believe, I really want to trust them, because obviously they're doing the Great Western stuff. Which brings me on to the next one, which it's going to work if I let myself buy it like I did my Japanese stuff. So basically, good majority of this stuff will meet each other on the Japanese network, or have met each other on the Japanese network for the older things. Steam engine is a bit more easy because a lot of them did intermingle, but those particular numbers may never have met. So we'll go with that one. But I think just to make Rule 1 easier, Rule 1 is going to have to go into play. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Rule A, we'll call it. To make Rule A easier, this same approach has to be taken. Which, of course, for those who know, that's obviously the idea along with the double O as well. Just, I have a base, and then I can get what I want to do. If there's things I want, they're pretty. So that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, I'm going to favour the Great Western. The idea being that eventually I'll be able to build a Great Western layout. Again, using as a base. So yeah, I'm obviously very encouraging Farish are doing the halls. Interestingly, not doing one in Great Western livery though. And they've got the castles out and the 6400 panniers. So we've got those. I would try a Sonic model, large prairie again, if they can find one that behaves. So yeah, and if there's also the 56XX out there somewhere as well that they did. So there are options. But first off, I want to build something that will benefit the looser form of purchasing. So I have in the past I've laid the track out and had it semi-working. It was very Heath Robinson how it was all set up. But I've actually managed to build Bridgnorth in here on the Severn Valley Railway before now, track-wise. I think it was a little bit shorter. Rather than 6-7 coaches, I was running 5 coaches, but getting a decent representation of Bridgnorth in. So I'm going to head in that direction first. It won't be called Bridgnorth. It will be called something hinting towards Bridgnorth, shall we say. And that just means it just separates me from modelling the actual Severn Valley Railway. I'm modelling their track plan, because then I don't, hang on, they don't have that engine, they don't have that engine, they don't have that engine. And yeah, so it gives me a bit more freedom there, whilst giving me a lot of fun. So obviously the plan is still that Suriname eventually goes on a supporting shelf over there, turning 90 degrees, lifting for rotors, turning 90 degrees higher, and then the layout will go in there. Now, whether that's Woodgate as well, whether I keep that the Woodgate name on that one or call it something different again, I don't know. I think something different might be nice. I did have another layout called Fenstow, which was a quite nice one. Yeah, so I've got ideas. I want to come up with something brand new. It's new for new. So yes, that's the hows and whys. So obviously, as some of you will have seen, I went to the Severn Valley Railway yesterday, Bridge North, in fact, and you'd think you'd have your props to hand, Christopher. For those who follow me on Instagram or Facebook, or friends with me on Facebook and that, you'll know I picked up one of these for, I said 60, it was just over 60, £61 something, but basically round down. This is EFI Rail E85503 John 94 saddle tank, number 12, National Coal Bore Blue. Well, it wasn't the only one they had for that price in there, so I thought it was rude not to pick up a second one, and this one is E85506 G84 saddle tank, 92 Wagoner, I think actually, isn't it? Army green. Now that one, I've been very lucky to drive a couple of G94s. Whiston was the first one, the first steam engine I ever got to drive. And I say drive in moving it from the shed into the platform area. As a thank you from the owner, I spent the previous day cleaning it, make sure I had water in it, oiling and all that sort of stuff. All the stuff that was the day before prep for it, and it was a bit of a reward for that, basically. But my grandparents sent me on a driver experience day, or morning course thing, at Peak Rail at Matlock, and there was a WD Army Green, basically. G94 there. I did have a name and number, but this is just to represent that. I did consider getting it, I could make it into the one I actually got to drive, but it's kind of too nice to change. It's got white wall wheels. The one I drove didn't. It was a lot more basic in paint scheme. This is quite pretty, so I'm like, it represents that one, and I think that's fine by me at the minute. Could always get another one in the future. These I'm impressed with how this one runs. This is the trouble one, but I'm impressed with how this one runs. I kind of don't want to muck about with it too much, but I am encouraged to get more of these if I can. I'd like to get Amazon and make it into Glendower, because I'm certainly not buying the Akura scale one. Yes, I'm on that side of the fence with that whole thing. I think that's just a brief mention on it. I think the way that's been handled is totally poor. I understand they didn't want to tell shops ahead of time because a customer would find out, but if we're all going to find out anyway, does it actually hurt anything? But to make independent retailers out in their official statement, make them out to be evil, and this is the reason Hellion was going under, is a bit far pushed, I think, and very unprofessional to my eyes and mind. Yeah, it's caused a lot of unpleasantness again, and I really didn't miss this about the UK side of the hobby. I don't see any of this from Japan when I'm looking at their stuff, but hey, I want a model British Trader too. That's too much. I mean, fortunately, especially in N, there's nothing from either company that really bothers me these days, so I need to worry about. In Double O, there was the panniers and the aforementioned Glendower, but again, there were other options to do that locomotive, and the panniers, I think the Batman ones are just as good. Briefly touching on Double O again there, I still intend to build the Inglenook plank for that, so that's still what happened, because Double O is a little bit more set up for shunting. Not saying it's impossible in N. I do want to investigate an Inglenook in N, a sort of travel one if you like. So when I'm away, in theory, even exhibiting the layout or away for some other reason, I might be able to take a little train set to play with, and play some shunting, which could help me in here, just settle and relax a bit more in new places. I'm not in my routine and everything. So yeah, that's something I do want to look into in the future. But yeah, I will be. So like my Manning Ward, I'm keeping the county even because I love counties. There's not one in Engage yet. Keeping the coaches, Growson coaches. All the little independent wagons on their own, like G Forks one, Defuse, the Great Northern Meat one, Coleman's Mustard wagon, just things that are making England interesting by having a few extra choices of easily identifiable wagons on the double O. So yes. But anyway, back to these. So these, we're going to see these run in a minute. So say the blue one has been a bit funny. That came out of the cabinet, and I do wonder in the cabinet if they dry out more. The wheels were filthy when I first got it out, but Wagoner here is absolutely stunning in its running capability. This one shows what that one is capable of, if once running properly. I just figured that now the option is to run it for as long as possible. Just keep running it, keep it clean, keep running it. Yeah, it had a single drop of oil in it as well, just to help lubricate things up. 'Cause it was, you could see clearly it was dry underneath, which is why I've got that theory about it's maybe just dried out a little bit too much. But it's running at the minute, say, and it seems to be running reasonably happy. It is occasionally just hesitating, I suppose, rather than stopping because it's not allowed to nudge it. So yeah, whereas Wagoners run fine on both lines. So yeah, and at worst, if it comes to it, there must be a paid service where it can be essentially, looked at and got running properly for me. I would like to go DCC with my UK trains in the future. Another reason to stick to more modern releases. Just because the operations of a Heritage Rail particularly benefit from it. I would look at the idea of trying to fit a Stay Alive inside that, even if it means it has to go in the cab. It would help it that little bit more. But yes. So yes, before we get to the trains running then, I will just let you know what we've got coming, because obviously once this parcel arrives we'll be able to look at it. So I have put an order in at a model shop, an independent one of course, and this is for a few items, just some of the money I would have spent on some of my 00 stuff, reallocated a little bit of that to these. I've gone for a ore hopper in Cadbury Bourneville yellow. I like to have Midlands industries represented where I can, so that was a no-brainer. And I did used to love Cadbury chocolate. I do still like some occasionally, but it's not as good as it used to be since Kraft took over. But yes, and then 2 NCB blue steel tippler wagons. These were about £13 each. So I was like, do you know what? I'll have the 2 different numbers. I'll have both of those, please. And they'll go with number 12 here quite nicely. Yes, a 20-ton brake van in BR Rail Freight. This is grey with a red strip across the top. Now, reason for that is when I volunteered at Shaxton, where I eventually got to drive Whiston at one time out of the shed and onto the platform. One of the other things I was involved with is we repainted a 20-ton brake van into that livery for the owner. The owner wanted it in rail freight. I didn't know it was rail freight at the time, but I recognise the livery every time I see one. I say, "Oh, I painted a brake van. I helped paint a brake van like that in real life." So I thought, well, I'm going for the Heritage Railway thing. Why not? Let's have one of these in there. Then I went for Rapido Not Quite Minx, the Welsh Railways triple pack. Now, I may have mentioned it before, if not, I'll mention it now. So my great grandfather was a chap called Thomas Thomas. This is going up my maternal line and doing a couple of wiggles there. But yeah, a guy called Thomas. He was from Merthyr. He worked at the local coal mine for initially, left there, went to work for, now the obituary said, the Great Western Railway. But having looked at maps and where the Juniper got to, it's in theory possible, but the much closer railway to Merthyr, where we could find, was the Taff Vale. So, by the fact I like the Great Western, I'm going to be favouring Great Western locos when I'm purchasing and stuff. That's that side of it covered. This covers the Taff Vale, because one of those wagons is a Taff Vale wagon. The other one's a Barry Railway one, and I think the final one's a Cambrian one? Question mark. We could actually tell you, couldn't I? I've actually clicked it up. I think I can open it up like that. Yep. Yes, so we've got Cambrian, Barry Railway and Taff Vale on the not quite mink range there. So that seemed to be a bit of a no-brainer as well, just to cover that. And I have that wagon. I don't know if it's the same running number, but I have that one in the 00 range as well. So it's kind of nice. Either way, I get some Taff Vale stuff, and it's always nice with somewhere in here as well some Welsh blood via him, by my grandpa, then mum and me. So it's nice to represent that, the land of me mother's father's. No, father's mother's father. There we are. But yes, and then the final item that I got, because yes, always have to have another loco if I can, is I have ordered one of the Class 47 warships. This is Ark Royal in BR Green. Now this one's interesting. It's a very good price at the minute on here. It says it's not in stock at the moment. I didn't realise, I don't think they're doing another run of it. But it's temporarily out of stock, usually dispatched within 28 days. So whether there's one in one of the shops or something, usually says, doesn't it, if... usually says if there's a stock shop, I think. But... shop stock, sorry. But I just figured that, well, look, it lets me order one. Let's see if it lets me order one. And if it does, then bingo, wonderful. And if they dispatch one, even better. If it doesn't let me order it, obviously just have to make another choice. There is another one on here. I'd be more than happy with that one as well. Different number, it'd be Bulldog. It's got small yellow panels and it's got the headco boxes on it, which are a real afterthought on that design. But I did check my original Ark Royal in 00 when I had one of these in 00, and regretted getting rid of it ever since. This is one of the models that made me want to come to Engage. I've looked at it several times and thought about just having one anyway, but this is the one I was referencing earlier. But I thought, well, I might, if they contact me and say, look, we're not going to get anybody to get one of these to you, then I'll just happily say, yeah, give me send Bulldog instead then, because it's sort of better to have one than not have one at all. I see there are other ones around and about, so I might try and get another one in the future as well. Yeah, I really like these Class 40 ones. I think they're very, very nice locos. And actually, do you know what? Everything I've read about them, they weren't awful. They just weren't diesel hydraulic, and the Western region wanted to be independent. So, yeah. So that would be nice. And if number 12 here is going to be a little bit temperamental, it takes the pressure off that wagoner can pull the freight train round, which I now have a proper one. So, anyway, here's me saying let's keep it short, and there's 25 minutes nearly of waffle to you, but there was a lot, as I say, there was a fair bit to go through in some ways. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get you trackside, and you'll see Wagoner depart the station to see how beautifully smooth that engine is. You watch it stall now on something. But that's on the passenger train, and we've got number 12 on the freight train. They have both yesterday evening and night when I was first using them. They ran in first, and then I put them on these trains, but they were the other way round. The wagon was on the freight and number 12 was on the passenger. On their respective tracks. Now, the bit that's a bit strange for you, going to be a bit strange for some of you, is that these are both put in Japanese stock because that's what I've got. So I've got a set of 4 coaches, which are the shorter local line coaches that I have, and then there's a couple of 4 Japanese wagons behind and a brake van, Japanese brake van behind the other one. Obviously, the freight train can be retired. The Welsh... sorry. I just had a message that had asking about the Welsh Rabbit triple pack, and obviously the freight train can be retired once the Kerno... There we are, that's where they're coming from. Once that order comes in, and I can then get a British freight train running, including the Welsh triple pack. But anyway, let's get trackside and let's enjoy it. Yes. So I'll see you over there. Thanks for sticking around during the waffle bit. Now let's see some trains running. So welcome trackside. You can see Wagoner sat there behind the cherry blossom. Thank you again for listening to all the wittering in the previous bit. Some of you may have skipped forward to the trains running, but yes. So here is National Coal Ward Kent number 12 on the freight train. As you can see, it's actually running quite pleasantly now. But that bridge is actually one of the places it likes to stop. Oh, that's interesting. It's just like the way the light's playing on here. There's a lot of something on it. Yeah, the bridge is one of the places that likes to stop randomly. As you saw, it just went across fine, and the LEDs on the brake van didn't flicker or anything like that. So a bit weird, that one. But yes, so I don't actually feel that these look too weird going through Japanese scenery. So with the buildings in the background and that, I think they suit it quite nicely. You see a bit of hesitation there, which you didn't do the first time, but hey, it's still moving. As long as it still moves, it's a win for me, I think. Right, so let's get Wagoner out, and you'll see just how much smoother this one is. But yeah, like I say, it's probably going to stall now. This is just on analog control with the Kato SX controller. Getting to a bit of a faster speed because it's pulling a passenger train. And also there's details to be fitted to these, such as back pipes and things like that, and nameplates on this one. But yeah. I like to think that it actually, do you know what, it's not too bad, that. So, hopefully you enjoyed this short running session. We await Wagonair to arrive at the station. Wagonair? Wagonair? Still can't quite make up my mind. You think it's Wagonair, say A in the comments. If you think it's Wagonair, say B. And there we are. So with that, I shall say thank you for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it, found the first bit at least semi-interesting. Again, that could be one of those things that's a bit more for my own enjoyment as opposed to well, my own enjoyment, own reference purposes and stuff like that. You know, if I was going, why have I done this or why have I done that? I can look back and see when my thoughts were. Tell you what, let's just back this one up again a little bit, just to there we go, just to see it, and you'll see the other one arriving as well. And yeah. So, without further ado, I shall say thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, be all. Always remember to have fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Slow speed demonstration. Rather interestingly. Can do it.